Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, alladhi hadana li hada wa ma kunna linahtadiya lawla an hadana Allah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim wa barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. A'udhu billahi as-sami'il 'alim minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Kaifa takfuruna billahi wa kuntum amwatan fa ahyaakum thumma yumitukum thumma yuhyikum thumma ilayhi turja'un. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, I'm not a very regular speaker, so please pardon me if I make any mistakes or if something is not really conveying to you. Inshallah, I'm trying to, from being a science background, from being from a tech background, I'm trying to convey the topic denying the divinity. So, how many of you have encountered with any atheists? Please raise your hands. Yeah. So there are many questions, especially in this era of science. So our anger asked, how can we scientifically prove God? How can we scientifically prove God? I'm asking you. I want your cooperation for this session. How can we scientifically prove God? My idea is that science cannot prove God. Science can neither disprove God too. Science is limited to observation. The God we talk about is beyond our observations. In science we talk about the material world. The God we talk about is the one who created this material world, who is immaterial. So science doesn't really come into picture in my opinion. But there are a lot of questions to be answered, and there are a lot of questions being asked these days. Does a God exist? Or is it a personal God? Does a personal God exist? Do we need a God in this era of science and reason and logic? Isn't it a superstitious belief that there is a higher authority up there? I would say that the belief in a higher being is hardwired in human brains. I would say that. It's the innate nature of man. In Islam we call it fitra. That's the innate nature of man, that we believe in a higher being. Let me cite you an example from history. You heard about Soviet Russia, right? Around 1917, Lenin had this revolution and a communist country came into being. That was Soviet Union. They implemented communism. How did they implement communism? There were no churches, there were no mosques, there were no madrasas, no religion. People were persecuted if they are having any personal belief too. They are persecuted for their personal beliefs, which means that they cannot openly express that I am a Muslim or a Christian or a Hindu or whatever it is. In such a country, this situation existed for more than 70 years. Around in 1980s, we know that the Soviet Union came down, right? Till then, there was no religion. There was no whatever religion it is, there was no religious schools or mosques or churches or any worship centers there. Right after Soviet Union fallen down, a generation is nurtured without religion. There were if it's Muslim, there are no madrasas. After that, immediately, again, there were churches, there were mosques, there were other religious worship centers. So what does it mean? Even if you don't teach religion, even if you don't teach belief into a nation, to a whole generation, it will come back, because it's the innate nature of man to believe in God. So as Shah Waliullah Dahlavi told, the radiant sun itself is evidence of itself. If you need evidence, what you have to do? Then do not turn your face away from it. Right? How meaningful is that? So it's a natural instinct of a man to believe in a higher being, and even the science acknowledges that. So there are certain scientific studies which says that in children, they tend to believe in a God, even if they are growing up in a secular situation, they tend to believe in a God. There are certain studies which indicates that. I am not going into details as of now. I can share the slides if you want. So, how do we believe in God? So, logically, is it possible to prove that if a God exists? Is it logical or not? So, I'm trying to give you an example from logic on how we can prove there is God. You can very simply explain to your friends, your atheist friends. So there was a tussle in the science world about the origin of universe. I hope you are aware about that. There were two prominent theories. The first one was called steady state theory, which tells that there was the universe, it is now, and yeah, it will be there in the future too. Like it had no origin and it has no end. So the philosophers like Bertrand Russell, he was a very famous atheist and a Nobel laureate. He was believing in the same. It was around in 1950s. And then this Edwin P. Hubble, he explained that universe is expanding, so there has to be a starting point. And then this Big Bang theory came into picture, right? So whatever the theory is, now the scientists believe that, or the people believe that there is an origin for this universe, right? So there is an origin for this universe. So things which began to exist, whether it's universe or me or you or this chair or this mic, it has four possibilities. The possibilities are either it is brought from nothing, it came from nothing. And the second possibility is it came from itself. And the third possibility is it is created by something which is created. And the fourth possibility is created by something which is uncreated. Okay, so these are the four logical possibilities. You can think about it. You can think whether if you can find any more possibilities. So either it has to come from nothing, or come from itself, or created by something created, or created by something uncreated. So if you analyze each possibilities, so if it has to come from nothing, what is nothing? Nothing doesn't mean, so here, it's not nothing. You have air here. You have a space here, right? I can come and stand here. So we have a space here. So if you are talking about nothing, we are actually talking about, you can think about it like this. So science actually cannot address nothing. So if you think about it, let's talk Big Bang theory. So before the origin of universe, what was there? You have to actually think that the time and space as we perceive now has come into existence after the Big Bang. So what was before that? There was no time. Or as we understand it, there was no space as we understand it. Right? So nothingness is like it's a big problem for science. Okay, so nothing can come from nothing. Like if you believe that this mic came from nothing, like people will say you are having psycho issues, right? And the second possibility, so first possibility we can reject that. So the second possibility if we take, so what is the second possibility? It came from itself. So it's like, I will give you an analogy to give example, to make it understand easily. So let's tell your mother gave birth to herself. Your mother gave birth to herself. Is it logical? It's a very absurd statement, right? She can't give birth to herself. So nothing can create from itself. So universe cannot create like automatically from itself. So the third possibility it is created by someone who is created. So then there exists a problem, right? What is the problem? Excellent. Who created that created? Who created that created? It's like an infinite regression. In mathematics we call it an infinite chain, an endless chain which will never give any logical conclusion. For example, I'll give you an example. This brother has to shoot me. Okay, he has a gun and he has to shoot me. He has to get permission from the brother next to him. Let's say there are infinite number of people. He has to get permission from the other brother. He has to get permission from the other brother. Will he shoot me or not? He cannot shoot me, right? Because it will be an infinite regression and in reality it will not happen. So it's as if we are saying universe doesn't exist. So the fourth and only logical possibility is that there is an uncreated creator. So there doesn't come any question. So this is the best explanation, created by something uncreated. As we see in Surah Al-Ikhlas, Lam yalid walam yulad. He is neither begets nor is born. Right? So God, by definition, you can see the same argument from Quran and Surah At-Tur. Am khuliku min ghayri shay'in am humul khaliqun. Am khalaqus samawati wal arla bal la yuqinun. Or were they created by nothing, or were they creators of themselves, or did they create heavens and earth? Rather, they are not certain. So this is a logical argument which I didn't put forward. It is put forward by Quran, which you can always ask your friends. So, and as we look around us, so for example, the fine tuning of universe. If you see, you know about the gravitational constant, right? Force equal to, have you studied physics, Max? F equal to g m1 m2 by r square, I remember from my high school standards. So g is called the gravitational constant, which value is 6.67 into 10 power minus 11 what? Kilogram meter square per Newton. So, Newton per kilogram meter square. So, if you see that value of that gravity, so gravity is what holds this universe together. Earth is revolving around the sun because of gravity. The solar system, the whole solar system, the Milky Way, the whole celestial bodies are in tandem around, revolving around each other in their orbits because of gravity. So if this gravitational constant was like 0.0001 or 1 part of 1000, if it was increased a bit, now everything will collide into each other because the gravitational force will increase and everything will collide into itself. So if it was like 0.00001 less, so what happens is everything will be far apart. For example, the sun and earth will go far apart. Earth, the life will not exist because the sunlight, it will not get the sunlight. So there are, if you see even every small constant of this universe, you can see that there is a fine tuning for this universe, which proves that there is a designer, there is a creator for this universe. Okay, so another example, let me give you another example. If the earth rotates on its own axis, right? These are some small points which we can point to our atheist friend to prove that there exists a God. So earth rotates on its own axis at 1000 miles per hour. So what happens if instead of 1000 it's 100 miles per hour? What will happen? Think logically and give me an answer. Instead of 1000 miles per hour, the earth is rotating on its own axis. What will happen if it becomes 100 miles per hour? Yeah, so one cycle around its own axis is like 1 day, right? So 1 day is 24 hours now. If instead of 1000 miles per hour, if we are rotating, let's say 100 miles per hour, so how many hours will be our day? It will be 240 hours instead of 24 hours. Right? Can you imagine a day with 240 hours? How will be? Like, life is impossible. Right? The sun being 120 hours in daytime continuously, the life is impossible there. If everything if you look, the moon and earth is at a distance. Now the moon was a little more closer to the to the earth. What will happen? There will be more gravitational attraction between the moon and earth. Do you know what happens when there is more gravitational attraction? There will be high tide. You have heard about high tide and low tide in the oceans, right? So if the high tide, the whole earth will be drowned. If there was a distance, there is a reduced distance between the moon and the earth. So everything, if you think like that, the oceans were, if they were a little more deeper, they will absorb more carbon dioxide, which means that what will happen then? There will not be photosynthesis for the plants, which means there will not be respiration for human beings because these are interlinked process. So all these issues will come into picture. If you look into ourselves, let's take our brain. Since I am from a tech background, I am explaining you an example about our brain. Okay. So our brain is composed of cells called neurons. Right? Our brain is comprised of cells called neurons. How many neurons are there in our brain? Do you have an estimation? It's like 1 billion neurons are there in our brain. 1 billion. So in 1 billion neurons, now these neurons are interconnected to each other These connections are called synapses. Synapse, we call in science, we call them synapse. So each neuron is interconnected to around 10,000 to 2 lakh other neurons. Each neuron is connected to, so you should think about this, each neuron is connected to 10,000 to 2 lakh other neurons. So if you think about it, there are like 1 billion into, let's take 10,000 only, the lower limit only, 1 billion into 10,000 connections inside our brain, which will amount to 10 power 15. 1 quadrillion connections in our brain. Our brain is a system, a network with 1 quadrillion connections. So to understand the gravity of this, let's take maybe one of the largest networks in the world. So let's take mobile network. So there are around 6 billion or more than 6 billion people in the world, right? 600 crores, 6 billion people. So assume that each one has a mobile phone. Each one has a mobile phone, right? So each one has a mobile phone. How many contacts you will have in your mobile phones? That's the network, right? Maybe max 500 contacts or even lesser. Let's take 500 contacts. So with 6 billion people, 500 contacts. So how many connections you have? Let's assume you will call everyone every day. Let's assume all that maximum possibilities there. How many contacts will you have? How many connections will you have? It will be like this 6 billion into this 500, which will be around 3 into 10 power 11 connections you have. So our brain network, a network in our brain, a brain which has a dimensions of like 13 centimeter into 14 centimeter into 9 centimeter, a box which weighs only 1.3 kg, has more connections. It's a 1,000 times bigger network than the whole mobile network in this world. So if you think about this, how amazingly Allah has created us. Okay, still there are people who tell you that everything came into existence by chance. So how many of you like mathematics? Like mathematics, right? Yeah, I'm going to ask you some questions now. I did a small experiment. So there is a small experiment. So the experiment is that a monkey has to type, you heard about Hamlet? Hamlet is a very famous play by William Shakespeare. Okay, it's a very famous play. There is a very famous quote from Hamlet that I have written there. To be or not to be, that is the question. That's a very famous quote from the play Hamlet by William Shakespeare. Let's assume that there is a monkey sitting somewhere. Assume that I'm a monkey. I'm having a keyboard. I don't know English, right? I'm a monkey. I'm typing randomly. What is the probability that I get a sentence to be or not to be? That's the question. So we are trying to calculate that. Okay, you are with me, right? Yeah, so whoever likes mathematics, I want them with me now. So I don't want the monkey to type the whole Hamlet. I want only one sentence, to be or not to be. That's the question, which has 41 letters, including the space and the comma, etc. There are 41. So if you take a normal keyboard, there are 32 keys, including like the 26 alphabets plus the space key plus the like the full stop and comma, etc. Okay, so you have this keyboard with 32 keys. Just come with me. I'll show you the max. And a monkey has to type randomly, and someday he will end up with this sentence. Okay, let's see the probability. Okay, you're good with probability also, right? Whoever is good with max. So, to get the first letter T correct, so what is the probability? So, there are 32 keys. So, the probability is like 1 by 32. It's fairly simple, right? There are 32 keys. To get the T right, it's 1 by 32. Now, to get the T plus O right, what is the probability? 1 by 32 into multiplied with 1 by 32. So, to get the whole sentence, what is the probability? There are 41 strokes required. So, 1 by 32 into 1 by 32 into etc. up to 41 times. So, it's like 1 by 32 to the power 41 to get the complete thing correct. So, let's assume there is a monkey typing Hamlet. Assume that monkey is typing, let's say, one line. One line includes this 41 strokes per second. Per second, monkey types 41 strokes. Let's give all the probability. Okay. So the probability that the monkey won't get it in 1 second is 1 minus 30 to the power 41. The monkey won't get it correct is 1 minus 30 to the power 41. Now, let's not give 1 second to the monkey, right? It's very small. You can't assume a monkey typing one sentence in, this sentence in 1 second. So let's give him 1 minute. So if we give him 1 minute, it becomes the whole power 60 because there are 60 seconds. So 1 minus 30 to the power 41. So the probability that monkey won't get in an year, let's not limit the monkey to 1 minute. Let's give him a year to type randomly and get this sentence. So the probability that the monkey won't get it in 1 year is like, now you have to again take the exponentials to 60 because 60 minutes is 1 hour. Then 24 hours is 1 day. Then 12 months is 30 days is 1 month, and 12 months is 1 year. So, or 365 days you can take it. So, the probability that monkey won't get it in 1 year is 0.999999. Okay. So, how many nines are there? I can't count. I have put the exact number after calculating there. So, this is the probability that the monkey won't make it. So, what will be the probability the monkey will make it if he has given a keyboard and is typing like crazily 1 line per second for complete 1 year? The probability is at 0.0000000001. But then the people like who believe in evolution and all, they tell that this time is not enough. 1 year is a very small time frame when you compare to the universe. So I give him 1,700 crore years. Instead of 1 year, we jump to 1,700 crore years. Then the probability that monkey don't type this sentence is 0.9. Again, you see that, right? How many nines? I can't count. Again, the probability that the monkey will make it is 0.00000 whatever zeros and 1. So again, they will tell that 1,700 crore year is not enough. We need more monkeys. Okay, let's bring more monkeys. Okay, assume that there are 17 billion galaxies. In each galaxy, there are 17 billion planets. And each planet, there are 17 billion monkeys sitting with a typewriter and typing randomly to get for 17 billion years. So 17 billion years, like our 1,700 crore years, that's approximately the lifetime of this universe. So let's give all those time. And how many monkeys are there? I can't count. 17 billion into 17 billion into 17 billion. That much monkeys. Typing this whole sentence per second, the probability that monkey, I have calculated it, don't get that sentence is again 0.999. Now there are some 10, 11 nines. So the probability that one of the monkeys will get this sentence is 0.0000001. So this probability, if you take it, so what is the chance? So for monkey typing one sentence from Hamlet, so if a line in a Shakespeare play can't come by chance, then what are the chances that the Shakespeare himself came by chance? Think about it. So these all chance games, if you come to the mathematics, actual mathematics, it won't work. So I think the time is up now. I'm ending my talk. So if you think about it, it's amazing, right? I have an iPhone 10 which has like, what is its camera resolution? It's like 20 megapixel or 18 megapixel. Now we have an I which has a resolution of 576 megapixel. So if someone argues to you that this iPhone came into chance, if this iPhone came into chance, you'll tell them, you are crazy. But if someone argues that if this I came by chance, you sometimes call them atheist, or so you can tell whether an atheist or is crazy or not. I'll end up this talk by again giving you the meaning of the verse of the Quran, Surah Baqarah, ayah number 28, which was presented before you at the start of my talk. Kaifa takfuruna billah. How can you disbelieve in Allah? وَكُنْتُمْ أَمْوَاتًا فَأَحْيَاكُمْ ثُمَّ يُمِيتُكُمْ ثُمَّ يُحْيِيكُمْ ثُمَّ إِلَيْهِ تُرْجَعُونَ. You were lifeless and He brought you the life, and He will cause you to die, and then He will bring you back to the life, and then to Him you will be returned. So if we have to return to Allah, we have to return with the correct belief. وَصَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَى نَبِيِّنَا مُحَمَّدٍ وَعَلِهِ وَصَحْبِهِ أَجْمَعِينَ Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.